this town wanna know me now. Cause every honey in this town wanna hold me down. Roll me round, cause I'm brown like a blunt. So put it in the sky.
All right. Welcome to the BS Sports Show. I am Matt Brokoff, and he is Ryan Schwinn from Lincoln, Nebraska. Any comments or feedback is appreciated. Looking back on the Heisman race, Ryan, what did you think about it?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to congratulate Mark Ingram on a great season. He had a lot of touchdowns and a lot of yards on a great team.
Great team.
I could have ran for about 750 yards behind their offensive line, but that's neither here nor there. Congratulations to him.
What did you think about Sue, who I think we both agree is the best player in college football?
Well, we are biased because we are from Nebraska, but
Go Skurs!
if you watched every game as we did, you would know that he's the most dominating player on the defensive side of the ball, and he changes games.
Yeah, kind of looking at these other candidates, I like to see how they play in big games. Obviously, Sue had a great game in the Big 12 championship, which kind of made him into a Heisman candidate there. But like with Mark Ingram, I argue that he's not even the best player on Alabama's team. Wanda McClain, great player. Julio Jones, great player. Their defense is just nasty, really. But in big games, Mark Ingram, arguably against the best defenses you could say in the SEC, being Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn, he had 0 touchdowns. Against Auburn, I remember watching coming out. Auburn was just doing work on them. At the end of the game, Mark Ingram's on the sideline, supposedly hurt, 34 yards in that game. Just not impressed, really. And they should have lost against Tennessee. He didn't have himself a really good game either. Just 0 touchdowns in those 3 big games. Looking at the quarterbacks, Tim Tebow was obviously there just for his name. His stats were nothing special at all. Florida lost against Alabama. He couldn't expect to win. Cole McCoy, in his 2 big games, arguably against the 2 good defenses in the Big 12, Nebraska and Oklahoma, he 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions. That doesn't cut it for me. Only passing 155 yards a game. Texas being a passing team, obviously that's not very good. And then Toby Gerhart, he's a good player, I'd argue. He'd be number 2 on my list behind Sue, but everybody made a huge deal about his last 4 games against USC, Oregon, Cal, and Notre Dame. Pac-10 defense, USC obviously a down year. Oregon's obviously offensive based. Cal had no help with Javid Best being hurt, and the Notre Dame's defense is obviously why Charlie Weiss got fired. I just like to look at the big games, and Sue obviously had the best out of the 3 games, and I just don't understand why he'd finish 4th in the Heisman. It's just beyond me.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Watching Sue the entire season again, he completely changed games. He had as many tackles for loss, sacks as Alabama's, Florida's defensive lines combined.
Mount Cody.
That's 4 players, and Sue equaled their entire stats. He just couldn't be blocked. 2-3 people every game, and look at his stats. Nobody single blocked him the entire season.
Unbelievable. I agree completely. We'll be back after these 30 seconds here.
Welcome to the land of misery, where my delivery strikes with madness or explode.
All right, next we will talk draft talk in football's future. Wrap that in bacon. Back in a minute. All right, and we're back. Once again, comments or feedback is appreciated. Comments or feedback is appreciated. All right, we're looking at the NFL draft board here. Ryan Schwinn, you are the St. Louis Rams with the number 1 overall pick. Who do you take?
Well, Matt, I would have to take Sam Bradford.
Really?
Yeah. Even though he's hurt, I think he's going to prove himself in post-draft workouts.
He looked good last year for sure. I think he's had enough time to heal that he'll be good to go going into the combine. All right. You take Sam Bradford over Ndamukong Suh right now, huh?
Yeah, you really just can't have Keith Knoll playing quarterback.
Out of? I don't know either.
Yeah, I don't either.
Shows you how important he is. All right, so we got Sam Bradford at 1 going to the St. Louis Rams. Okay, at 2, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got to go with Sue Daddy, huh?
Well, absolutely. Their defensive line hasn't been anything stylish since Warren Sapp has left and went to the Raiders.
Yeah, I agree. Gaines Adams kind of hit and miss,
Yeah.
mainly a miss.
Fizzled out.
Yeah.
The 3rd overall pick, and he's already traded.
Yeah, hopefully there's some trading going on. I'd like to see Sue go to a pretty good team here. But we got Ndamukong Suh, Nebraska at 2, going to the Buccaneers. Okay, 3rd pick, Cleveland Browns. Who do you take?
I'm just gonna have to go with Derek Morgan. He's not really a 3-4 defensive end. He's more of an outside linebacker, but he's just relentless, fierce off the edge.
Reminds me of Brian Rackpo a little bit.
Absolutely.
Definitely a comparison. They're doing work with the Redskins right now. All right.
Nice. But at 4 we got the Detroit Lions, and I'm gonna go with Russell Okung at Oklahoma State. Jeff Backus just ain't cutting it no more.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good pickup. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they just got to protect Matty Stafford and try and get the ball to Calvin Johnson if they don't trade him.
Why would you trade Calvin Johnson? It's just, I don't understand.
Yeah, he's probably he is one of the best wide receivers in the game, and just athletic freak.
Him and Larry, man. Larry Fitzgerald, great players. All right, Kansas City Chiefs at 5. Who do you like there?
I'd have to go with Eric Berry. He's just a ball hawk out of Tennessee. They need a lot of help everywhere. Matt Castle I don't know about him yet. He hasn't proved much since he came over from the Patriots.
Well, they just got so many. Ugh. It's hard to talk about the Chiefs without getting frustrated. All right, at 6 we got the Oakland Raiders. Where does Al Davis go with this pick? Darius Hayward-Bay?
Well, Carlos Dunlap, he deserves to be in the top 10, but off of physical attributes alone. But after that DUI arrest and his inconsistent play on the season.
Sounds like half the Oakland Raiders roster to sign him.
True. Jamarcus Russell. I mean, they could even go quarterback here with Bruce Gradkowski at the helm.
Oh, he looks good, but
yeah, he's a journeyman.
All right, 7, we got the Washington Redskins. Who do you like here?
I'm going Gerald McCoy. Just best player available. Him and Albert Hainsworth, just unstoppable.
That'd be pretty sick with Brian Orakpo as well.
Coming off the edge.
Sick defense with possibly a new coach, Mike Shanahan. I think that'd be good for Jim Zorn, just not a leader. All right, at 8, we got the Donkeys, Denver Broncos. Who do you like?
I have to go with Earl Thomas, a third-year sophomore out of Texas. Just a ball hawk, and he could learn from Brian Dawkins for a year maybe. And
I agree. Well, it'll be interesting to see if he comes out here.
Absolutely.
I think winning a national championship may help his decision on that one, but we'll see. At 9, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Who do you like there?
I'm going to have to go Jimmy Clausen.
Jimmy!
Yeah, under center kind of quarterback. Just got the moxie, and Matt Hasselbeck, he's getting old, and he just can't stay healthy, and just not what he once was.
I like Jimmy's cockiness. I think it's a good thing to have coming out of college into that NFL level.
Absolutely. The only thing that concerns me is Jimmy's height. How tall is he? Is he 6'3", 6'1"? That's a big deal for us.
Yeah, I think this decision-making could improve as well, kind of relying on his great receivers at Notre Dame with Golden Tate and Michael Floyd. All right, last pick, top 10, San Francisco 49ers. Who do you like?
I'm going to have to go with the offensive tackle out of Rutgers, Anthony Davis.
That's not a sexy pick.
Well, when you have Tony Pashos at right tackle, I think you're going to need a new one soon.
Got to keep Alex Smith healthy.
Absolutely, and get the ball to Mr. Good-Looking Guy, Michael Crabtree.
Couldn't agree any more with that statement. All right, looking at your top 10 board here, looks pretty good. Interesting first pick with Sam Bradford, but I could see that happening, actually, with the Rams taking a quarterback. Hopefully it could be Jimmy. I want to see him kind of struggle a little bit. I think it'd be kind of fun to watch, I think. But, all right, thank you for listening to this podcast. Once again, comments and feedback is appreciated. All right, thank you.